Hello everybody, this is Gwyneth and welcome to my channel. Hey, this has been a very, very power-packed few weeks. Anybody that follows astrology knows that we have moved into something that's being called the Barbeau's cradle or Barbeau's basket, where all the outer planets have moved into either new signs or whatever, but they've all lined up at the same degrees, 4 degrees. And so they've all been interacting with us in ways that have started to move and shape us in new ways. Now, this forecast is running from the 26th to the end of the month, to the 31st. More exciting news, more things happening, affecting you, all of you, in various different ways. So I'm going to give an overview. Hopefully it's clear enough for you to suspend your ideas from it and use it as a tool, and take a look. Also, I want to add to this that it's good to look back in the past, or look back on as you're reflecting during the day on one of the big dates that I will give you to see how this lines up with what's happening now. So let's get going. And also I wanted to add that if you enjoy this channel and you're getting a lot out of it, please share it with friends. The thing that we always say is like, share, and subscribe. There's no cost to it. It helps me to grow in 1,000 different ways and be able to reach out, because I have my own take on things. I'm giving you information that you can find from a myriad of other wonderful astrologers that are out there, but everybody always has their specific spin on things. And also, if you want to drop me a line or ask me questions, I'm at cottagetarot, TAROT.com. Okay, so let's get going. We've got the whole collection of planets: Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, and Uranus, and they all have their own quirky personalities. So they're all interacting in some way to make a shift occur. Like I was saying before, it's a pop, crackle, and snap, crackle, and pop kind of energy. So let me run down some of the things that we will experience over this coming few days. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I would have dropped this video on the 26th, so but I'm going to incorporate the day before. So on Saturday the 25th, Neptune, the planet of, I like to give them personalities. It's a planet, an energy field that allows us to dig deep into our psyches. It contains elements of illusion, spirituality, whatever your brand is, and also to some degree our ability to tap into our psychic and intuitive faculties. That planet in the sign of Aries, which is dynamic. So it's a dynamic, thrusting energy that pushes us to tap into that subtlety that we sometimes push down. Sextiles blow it out of the water Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius is known for its hyperbolic intensity, its ability to dig deep into research, analysis, scientific discovery. Okay. Now, some people see it, the Pluto energy combined with the Neptunian energy, as a throwback to the 1960s, where the emphasis is on, peace, love, and holding hands and singing about, the dawn of the new age. But I also think that Neptune can be one of those planets that's a little bit shifty. It can also be one where there are secrets behind it. So combining it with Pluto, it's taking the lid off of some of those secrets. I heard one astrologer refer to it as an emphasis on practical earth spirituality, practical earthy spirituality. I'm not sure that opens the door to that quite yet. I do believe there has been a shift in the way we see a quote-unquote higher power. But I do believe that this is pushing the envelope on things, all things intuitive. And people are sensing that something's going on behind those closed curtains. It's sort of the Wizard of Oz, where the wizard is standing behind the curtain and Toto, the dog, starts barking because he can sense that there's a wizard behind that door. Well, that's kind of the energy. I see it more like that. On Sunday the 26th, Saturn will stand still for a little bit and then retrograde. It'll start to behave somewhat like a Mercury retrograde. Some of the practical concerns that go along, particularly driven by Aries. So Aries is saying, in combination with Saturn, this must be done this way and no other way. And Saturn retrograde is backtracking. It's saying, hey, there might be a better way to do this. Remember, any kind of retrograde is redo, revise, and remake, or in some fashion like that. So this retrograde is occurring on that day, and you might feel like, if you're in a workplace and, some of you work on Sundays, some of you don't, you may feel some of the established rules are being rewritten. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. So a lot is happening as it relates to this. You notice I love patterns. I like pretty cups. I like beautiful objects that have patterning. This is one of my paintings behind here, and it's sort of a tapestry shape, and it's all tied into patterning for me. So I had to mention it. On Monday the 27th, the North Node and the South Node will shift. Now, what I mean by that is they move out of Pisces and Virgo. And so North Node from Pisces into Aquarius. And the South Node goes into Leo. Now, we can get hung up on the whole concept of North Nodes and South Nodes, what they really speak to. In Indian astrology, the North Node indicates the direction your life is supposed to take this time around. If you're talking about past lives, this life, etc., etc. So wherever your North Node is, you look to the skills and abilities that you're supposed to be developing. The South Node is seen as, quote unquote, a weaker energy field of things that you're supposed to be releasing. In this case, it's a transiting North Node. I've seen it in my own life. I'm seeing it in my clients' lives. This sense of a monumental shift that is changing everything from relationships to career direction, possibly into a direction that is critical for your development right now. The Aquarian North Node is about becoming connected to the needs of your fellow humans, connected to a larger community, connected to developing their understanding of everything from technology to beauty. The South Node in Leo is still important. It is dynamic. It is, and it's an earthy fire. It's about putting the focus on rich and tableau-filled activities. But if you are looking at the North and South Node from a traditional perspective, we're moving away a little bit from the Leonine energy of me, myself, and I into the North Node energy of if one of us hurts, we all hurt. If one of us is grieving, we're all grieving. And I think we can, at some level, even if we stand in polar opposite directions in a political spectrum, we can line up with that. If someone is cold and shivering in the corner, we're all cold and shivering. Or at least that is, quote unquote, if we're talking about practical earth spirituality, that is a very, very human response to other people's pain and sorrow. So I'd like to think that this particular North Node and South Node change. This axis point is what we call it. It's an axis between Aquarius and Leo, which are opposite each other on the wheel, is moving us toward a more humane approach to dealing with our fellow humans. Hopefully. Now, the last time we witnessed this similar configuration was, I would like to say it was between 2007 and 2009. I'm hearing from some of the people talking about it, and also from what I'm reading, is that this energy was more based in around 2008. So what I would suggest, and this is what I was talking about before, is go back through your logbooks or via your memory and look at what you were doing at that time. Were you engaging in some particular activity? Or were you involved in having a baby? Or did you change your career direction? Just take a look at it, because this particular shift in the axis points is going to change your trajectory depending on where it falls in your chart. And if you want information on that, drop me a line. So let me bounce back here. So this is important. I've been feeling it for the last week or two. So you got to believe that there's something occurring for a lot of people. Because of course I'm feeling it, so you're feeling it. I don't mean to be so presumptuous, but this is big. Then on the 29th, this is a goodie. Listen to this one. We have a Capricorn full moon, right? Practical, determined, adherence to, rules and regulations, but it's a full moon, so it's a culmination point. Everything you've been working on, you are sort of closing the door on projects, or a certain lifestyle or a relationship. And you may be feeling like you need to stiff upper lip it. You know, I'm moving on because it is important to move on, because I feel like, you know, this wasn't working out. Or on a more positive note, I worked on that project, I got it done, it's perfect. And now we're closing the door on it. This big, bright full moon is saying that to us. But there's more happening here. So this Capricorn moon, literally at the same time in that day, becomes an Aquarius full moon, which has a totally different flavor. It's about closing the door on something and tidying up the loose ends, but it's also moving us towards something that's more research oriented, or more based on experiencing life at a different level. Maybe you are curious about something you've never explored before, but the closing down of an old project will release you into a more Aquarian, humanitarian, embracing of different cultures kind of energy. Now, there's more to this. So this moon, because it's moved into Aquarius, will be sitting very close to Pluto in Aquarius. So you got the moon and Pluto. So expect to see, at least in a public way, some big displays of emotion that relate to obscure issues. And it's not just about saving whales. It could be issues that relate to uranium deposits, or issues that relate to the price of oil, or things that people would normally say, yeah, this is a problem, but folks will be getting heated up about it. Now, on top of that, this Aquarius full moon, which is sitting so close to Pluto in Aquarius, will be interacting. It's like a knitting project or a weaving project. Will be sitting, metaphorically, sitting very close to the cazimi of the sun, which is conjunct to Jupiter. The sun in Leo, parking itself flat right on top of Jupiter in Leo. And Jupiter is about expansion, and the sun is about expansion. And so it's a cazimi. It's almost the same degree. That's what it means. So you've got the hotness of the emotionality of the Pluto, and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, and the Aquarius moon. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit and say that Aquarius can be very intellectual versus emotional, because it's analytical. But you have the sun. I hope I'm making sense here. I want to make this clear. The sun connected to Jupiter, which is all about drama and fiery outbursts. You've got all of these energies interacting all around the 29th. Write this down in your calendar. Pay attention to your driving. People will be overly reactive on a very mundane level. But watch what's happening on a global level. Watch what our politicians are saying. Pay attention to mandates that are being delivered that simply do not make a hell of a lot of sense. And then ask yourself, who's reacting to what? And who has their sun sign in possibly in Leo, or something else that's reactive to some of these planets? Because I'm telling you, this is going to be interesting at the very least. Now, on Wednesday, the 31st, I'm laughing because I can just see this acting out. The moon, thank God, will move into Pisces. It's a little bit gentler. It's watery. It's kind of a make peace energy. So if we've gotten a little carried away on the 29th and 30th, because it's going to linger, it's not just going to go away. But by the 31st, you should start to see a little softening around the edges of whatever is occurring on the world stage. Now, that's my review of this coming week. I'm chuckling to myself because Jupiter in Leo and the Sun in Leo are so dramatic. It's like a Shakespearean monologue. And I can guarantee that we will come away with quotes from these next two, few days, particularly around 29th and the 30th, and moving into the 31st. And when the moon moves into Pisces, it will water everything down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about the various sun signs. I want to shout out to you Sagittarians that somehow or other your reading and forecast got dropped out of the collection. And I apologize profusely. And this forecast period should be more to your liking. So, anyhow, let's jump into the sun signs and see what's going on. Okay, let's jump in and we'll start with Sagittarius. Hello, all of you. Listen, there's a lot happening over the next week, so listen up and then we'll pull some cards to see what's really going on in other areas. So you have the full moon starts out in your finance house. It's a little bit of Capricorn. And then the same day, and it's all about, tidying up some of your financial loose ends. Maybe you have been offered a bonus and it hasn't arrived yet and you need to find out why. Then on the same day, the moon will move into the third house. It's all about siblings. It's all about expressing yourself to the higher ups. It's maybe having to go for an interview. It will feel like if you do something as far as going after a job, it could be the final interview. It also could be an opportunity where things are really being firmed up and a decision is being made. So keep that in mind. On the 26th, when Saturn goes retrograde, it will, trine your natal sun. Two fire signs are very happy together. And that is in your 5th house of children and romance and all those goodies that we love so much. But maybe there was some project that you were anticipating that was going to be fun. Maybe an outing that you wanted to take, and now you're rethinking it because of this retrograde. Maybe because Saturn has parked itself there, it's kind of taking some of the joy out of something you are anticipating with gusto. Maybe there's a trip you wanted to go on and now you've discovered you can't afford it, or it's been canceled, or in any number of things. So keep that in mind. The retrograde won't last forever, but right now it's saying to rethink your plans. On the issue of the North Node shifting signs, the North Node in Aquarius is in your 3rd house. It's focusing your energy on how you express yourself, how you get your ideas out, how you take charge. It's also something to do with working with a sibling or dealing with some of their particular issues. The Leo energy of the South Node at this time is up in your 9th house. It's all about travel and expansion and going away and taking wonderful trips. The Sun will conjunct Jupiter there. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to get away. And I know that we just talked about a Saturn retrograde in your 5th house, because 5th house is also about play. So maybe you're analyzing this opportunity, and maybe you're saying, okay, instead of taking a short trip, maybe I want to take a long, month-long vacation somewhere, and I'm being offered the opportunity to do it. But with the Sun conjunct Jupiter, there will be some drama around this shift and this change in plans. So keep that in mind. It's also tied into this, with the Sun conjunct Jupiter in Leo, it's tied into this full moon that's occurring. So, like I said, it's a solidifying of plans and activities that you were counting on. You'll shift gears a little bit, and that could be very interesting. Okay, Sag, let's take a look at the cards and see what is happening here as it relates to what we're talking about. Because this is a very, very, very dynamic week. Also, I urge you to look back to 2008. What were you doing then? How was that affecting your career and your activities around it? What were you traveling at that point? Was it for business or pleasure? Sag, what's going on here? Whatever is happening in your life right now, it's saying you can do it. Do you want to make changes in your home? Do you want to make changes in the workplace? What is it that has you thinking intensely about your ability to pull something off? Because you can do it. I trust your talents. Sages are multidisciplinary. Possible news on the workplace front, a new job, a new project within the workplace. You've suffered a lot for whatever this is about. So there's this new offer coming. You've paid your dues. And now you're at the end of that suffering period. 10 of Swords. Some of you might hear that you're being transferred into a better position. You're not sure you want to do it. This is all about your work. Whether you're retired or not. Let's face it, folks. I don't know about the rest of you, but none of us get to really retire. There's too much work to do. This generation is forcing all of us out of retirement if you're already there. If you can stand and move and express yourself, you have work to do. 8 of Pentacles. Ace of Cups. There's an incredible new beginning. I just got goosebumps. It's a new start for you. It's juicy. It's exciting. It's blessed. Could also, if you're looking for love, this could be also part of it. Ace of Cups, and a lovely connection. Productivity at its highest, some benefits coming into you, feeling like you can enjoy yourself a little bit. He's sitting there with his arms crossed, contentment personified. This is the 9 of Cups. And lastly, even though you're going to be having fun, keep your cool, enjoy yourself, but stay on the path of what you're focusing on. Okay, folks, that's all I can say about you, Sagittarius, right now. Keep in touch. Drop me a line. Share this with other people that you know. Let them know that there's somebody out here who's talking about a lot of different things and has a little bit of a different spin on what's happening astrologically. Take care and be well. Hello, all you lovely Aries people. How are you doing? By the way, I'll be time-stamping everything here today, so you can switch around, and if you're cross-watching, you can look at other people's signs. So what's happening on the 25th? Well, we had a Neptune sextile Pluto, and in exact sign. Neptune is about spirituality, psychic ability, a little bit about illusion, sextiling Pluto. And you know, Pluto for you is in your 11th house, and Neptune is also in your 12th house. So you could have been picking up all kinds of juicy information that relates to a group of people you're working with. So it can be very helpful. On Sunday the 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturn will retrograde. Saturn is about hard work, particularly when it's in Aries. It's fiery, it's dynamic. It's saying, get it done, make it happen, da, da, da. Well, it's going retrograde. So some of those wonderful plans of getting things done and doing it a certain way are being revised. And Saturn in Aries for you is all about your first house and how you appear to the world, and how you want to really appear to the world. So you may be thinking about changing your appearance or your clothing or your style in some way. And you may have to, because the rules of engagement have changed. Maybe you no longer can dress in your street clothes and you have to wear a uniform. I don't know how this will play out, but that's going on. And then on Monday the 27th, the North Node, which is all about your direction and what you're being called to do, lands in that 11th house of groups, organizations, plans that you've been making, people with deep pockets, okay? And the focus is there. And then the South Node is in Leo, and it's down in your 5th house. So even though there's a lot of juice in the 5th house because it's your love area, and it's where the energy of if you have children or nieces or nephews, or you're an artist, the focus is going to be on putting the onus on something that has to do with a large organization, more than likely. So that's going on. On the 29th, there's a full moon that starts out in Capricorn, which is in your 10th house of your career. So you're tidying up, making sure all your loose ends are tucked in, because you may have been working on a major project, or maybe you're changing career, or you're going into a new job and you need to close down the old office. But what's really interesting about this is on the same day, the full moon will move into Aquarius. So you're not so much focusing on your job, your career, as the organization or the group of people or the deep pockets that have allowed you to have that job. There may be an important project that they're calling you in to do. Maybe they're not allowing you to leave yet. It could be any number of things. But this full moon is a culminating moon. So there's something happening with this organization that you're involved in, whether it's for pay or for volunteer. Now, additionally, we have a cazimi with the Sun and Jupiter. That means they're both together on top of each other. These two powerful energies, the Sun and Jupiter, Sun in Leo, Jupiter in Leo, sitting on each other's heads. The energy is linked like this. And it is in your 5th house of love, your kids, the creative work you do. So even though there's a lot happening in the North Node area of organization, the 5th house is demanding attention too, and saying, hey, as much as you're working with that organization, you've got a new romantic partner that needs attention, or your child needs attention, or whatever. So the two, even though, and this won't last forever, this kind of polarizing energy of the North and the South to such an extreme. At the same time, the new moon, this full moon, which has moved into Aquarius, moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius, is also interacting with the Sun and Jupiter in your 5th house. So even though you think you need to only pay attention to what's happening with a corporation or your business or some kind of association that you're involved in, your 5th house, which is about your creativity and your motivation for your creativity, or this new partner that you've just met who is madly in love with you, that 5th house has got such energy flowing through it right now. You cannot ignore it. So that's happening for you, Aries. On the 31st, when the moon moves into Pisces, things will become a little bit more internalized. It'll calm down. It'll become a more softer energy. Maybe some of the bells that are ringing in the 5th house will quiet down a little bit, and you can collect your thoughts, because with Pisces in your 12th house, you become a little bit more introspective. So keep that in mind. Okay, Aries, let's take a look at the oracle cards and see how that's affecting you. Aries, 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 what's going on here? You are seeing the situation accurately, and I think I am too. There's just amazing power between the 11th house and the 5th house. You will not believe what's going on there. And I would urge you to look back to 2008, what was happening then, if you can remember that far back. What was happening in your life, what changes were occurring, because there's a similarity. I guarantee it. Oh my goodness. Well, the benefits outweigh the losses. The solar energy of the sun shines itself through your life. This is luck and abundance. It's one of the best cards in the deck. The Sun card. Healing. If you've been having some physical issues or emotional issues, there's a change occurring. You're getting answers. The lottery card. This is beautiful, the Star card. Opportunities for change. Winning big at something. A celebration of joy and love, a possible marriage, coming together with a like-minded person. I like this for you, Aries. Oh my goodness. I'm going to stop there. Please drop me a line. Let me know how you're doing. I always look forward to people's messages. And what can I say? Have a great week, and I'll see you in August. Hello, all you lovely Leos. See, I like to say that. How are you doing? Have you got your coffee or tea? It's early here. I love it when it cools off in the summertime, because I'm actually not a summertime person. And the minute there's an opportunity to make a pot of soup, that means it's cooled off a little bit, I'm busy. Or to bake some banana bread, hello, Dolly. Okay, I digress. Let's take a look at what's going on with you, Leo. And I'm telling you, there's a lot. Okay, let's jump right in. So on the 25th, Neptune the planet of mystical, magical mystery tours, sextiled and is sextiling Pluto. Exactly. And Neptune in Aries is very compatible with you, Leos. It's a fire sign. And to say that it isn't compatible with Pluto is kind of not true, because you guys get along with air signs. Now, there's a opening up here for everybody on so many different levels. But with Pluto in your 7th house of long-term relationships and Neptune in Aries, there's a sense of maybe seeing that this partner is truly your soulmate. Maybe you're starting to see them from a different angle. I don't know. But that's occurring. And it's subtle and it's intuitive. On Sunday the 26th, Saturn will go retrograde in your 9th house. 9th house is always about expanding your worldview. Now, for some of you, it's about travel or going back to school. With a retrograde occurring, and we're talking a big retrograde in Aries, Saturn is about form, function, and rules and regulations. It can also be documents. It can be an announcement. But with Saturn going retrograde in this 9th house, there's a possibility that you are rethinking starting a college program, rethinking a trip that you are going to take. Maybe you're rethinking it in a different way. You're going to go to Denmark instead of Denver. I don't know, but that's going on. On Monday the 27th, here's the ding, 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 big thing for you Leos. The North Node moves into Aquarius, and that's your 7th house of long-term partnerships. The South Node is in Leo, in your 1st house of identity. Now, I want you to look back to 2008. What were you doing? Who are you seeing? Were you married? Were you divorced? Were you in the process? What was going on? Were you building a business? Did you have a new partner? I want you to track it because it repeats itself. As I said to one of my very, very good friends, it's rinse and repeat. These patterns are cyclical and have happened before most of the time. Now, on Wednesday the 29th, we're talking more of this Aquarius stuff. The full moon will start out in Capricorn. Practical, earthy Capricorn. It's your 6th house of work, how you work, where you work, when you work, and your health. Practical, hardworking, muscular, strong 6th house in Capricorn. By the way, if you have your 6th house in Capricorn, you might be into bodybuilding. You might be into strengthening your muscles in some ways through Pilates, your core development, etc., etc. But it's a very practical placement for this. The full moon is a culmination moon. So you're tying up some loose ends in a workplace and getting a project done, or maybe you're completing something and moving on. But the full moon will move into, you got it, Aquarius on the same day. It will fall on top of that Aquarius North Node that we were just talking about. Long-term relationships, business and romantic partnerships, etc. So it will hype up the energy that's occurring as that North Node is starting to transit your chart. The two polar axes, Aquarius and Leo. and the North Node is your destiny, so to speak. The South Node is what you've been working on, but it doesn't mean it's gone away. Okay, now I'm being adamant because I want you to hear this, and I want you to go back to 2008. Really, I mean it. What were you doing? Now, additionally, there's more here. The moon will be very close to Pluto. The moon now has moved into Aquarius. It's a full moon. And Aquarius, Pluto is in Aquarius. So not only do we have the North Node parked there and the full moon parked there, we also have Pluto on top of your 7th house. And if that weren't enough, there's what we call a cazimi. It's when two planets come together in this almost in the same degree, same spot. Mathematically, they're packed on top of each other. The Sun in Leo is on top of Jupiter in Leo, and that, my friends, is on your 1st house. If we're looking at this from a solar position, Sun, Moon, or rising. Find that Leo. Where's that Leo in your chart? Listen, your 1st house is your identity. It's what you look like. It's how you express yourself. It's how the world sees you. And by golly, the Sun and Jupiter are right there. So you could find yourself in a creative medium acting, or somebody might look at you and go, oh, you'd make a great actress or actor. Or somebody may see you as over the top. Too bad, because that's what Leos are. They're over the top. And you know how I know that? I have a lot of relatives. I actually have, on my father's side of the family, all his sisters and mother were Leos. All pretty much around August 12th. Truly. And my mother is a Leo. So these folks are dramatic. They're creative. They're loud. They love music. They love to dance. They make noise. And your Leo, is, in this case, is in your 1st house. And your North Node is in Aquarius. So your North Node is asking you to be more intellectual, to analyze things more. But this is all occurring for you simultaneously. This is big. I need you. I reiterate, go back to 2008 and tell me what you were doing. Drop me a line, by the way. Now, let's take a look. Oh, I want to add one more thing. Pisces. The moon in Pisces on the 31st will soften all the energy that's been occurring. It's like adding a little sugar to a very acidic tomato sauce. It'll soften it. It'll in your 8th house. It'll have you reflecting on transition, possibly doing something that changes your life entirely, but it will give you pause. Pisces energy is watery. It's not necessarily something Leos understand, but it will be a good, next step for all of you Leos. Okay, let's take a look at the oracle cards. Leo, 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 Leo. What's happening? Artistic expression. I would recommend getting out your art supplies. Make something. Start knitting something. I always mention knitting. Draw something. Dance. Play the guitar. I don't care. I've been so inspired lately by some of the musical stuff that I'm hearing through Facebook and Instagram. I love musicians. I love what they're doing. So artistic expression. What does that mean for you? Okay. Let's face it, Leos are some of the most artistic individuals on the face of the planet. You're going to be breaking away from an old form of artistry because it's kind of, I left a sort of a, I feel like I'm not producing enough. I don't feel like I'm wanted. The 5 of Cups, a little bit down in the mouth about it, but there'll be some positivity that comes your way around something creative you're working on. You might be called in to work on a new project. Ace of Wands. It's the end of suffering as it relates to your art, whatever creative medium you work in. 10 of Swords. You've suffered for your talent. Use your head. Don't get carried away. You're not at Broadway yet, although some of you might be. It's just the next step. You might take your time with it. You're not going to jump in with both feet yet. But this is a very interesting next step. Okay, lovely Leos. Have a wonderful week. Drop me a line and let me know how you're doing, and take care. Hello, Virgos. How are you? Let's jump right into your forecast and take a look at what's happening with you folks. So, on Saturday the 25th, Neptune will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Neptune, of course, is in Aries, and there is a lot happening as far as this communication between the intuition and the intellectual. Now, Neptune for you falls in the area of your 8th house. So something you're picking up could have a big impact on some transitional period you are going through. And then Pluto is in Aquarius, and that is over in your 6th house of work. So you may be feeling that something is changing in the workplace, and you need to stay on top of it in some way. And your squeegee sense is, or your, the little bells that go off in your psyche are pointing you toward a deeper understanding of what is actually happening in the place where you spend so much time working. On the 26th at 9 p.m., Saturn will retrograde in the sign of Aries. And again, that's your 8th house. There is something that has been moving you along. You're in some kind of transitional period, possibly moving, changing jobs, etc. And there's a revisionist period coming along because of those rules and regulations. They're all being changed up. It's Saturn. It's about practicality. It's about due diligence. Well, for the next few weeks, the Saturn retrograde in Aries is changing up all the rules. So keep that in mind. Really big shift that goes, the last time we experienced this was in 2008, is the change of the axes. So on Monday the 27th, the North Node will move into Aquarius, and it's all about the work, how you do it, and your health, even how the work impacts your health. The South Node is in Leo in your 12th house. So that's also bringing in your deep introspective life as it relates to some of the things that are happening in your world, but also the work you do. So you might be asking yourself, is this truly the journey I'm supposed to be taking? So this is all happening. Now, what I would suggest that you do is you look back to 2008, because a similar shift occurred then. It could be you took a new position, you started working for a company then, that allowed you to expand on something that you deeply believe in. It could be a nonprofit of some sort. It could be a spiritual community that you got involved in, but it's all coming around again. Now, on the 29th, the real zinger occurs. The full moon in Capricorn in your 5th house of art, creativity, of course, children, your romantic partners, will be in Capricorn for a while and then move into Aquarius. So it'll be parking itself right on that North Node. Now, the North Node, again, is your direction, your current direction. It's part of this big axis, this big shift. But the full moon in Aquarius is having you tie up loose ends that relate to possibly another job. Okay, now, on top of that, if that weren't enough, the moon in Aquarius will be positioning itself very, very close to Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto is noisy. Pluto blows things up to make room for change. At the same time, it will be interacting with the Sun in Leo and Jupiter in Leo. The two of them make what we call a Cazimi formation, where the two planets are so close they're practically merging into each other. And that Leo energy is over on top of your south node in your 12th house, bordering, probably depending on where it sits in your 12th house, very getting close to your first house. But with the 12th house, it's all about introspection, spirituality, the secrets you keep, your insecurities that you keep hidden under a basket, your hidden dreams, your psychic ability, etc., etc. It's all packed in there. If you've had experience in hidden environments such as cults, prisons, monasteries, convents, it all is packed into that 12th house. So it's all interacting together as it pours its energy into the North Node, which is your 6th house, which is all about the workplace, the work you do, and to some degree, your big, beautiful body. So this is what's going on right now. Now, on the 31st, the moon will move into Pisces, and that is your 7th house of long-term partnerships. So the focus will roll into that area. It'll be a little softer, a little bit general, a little bit more watery, a little bit more as it relates to business partners and partnerships in general. It'll sort of take some of the heat off of what you've been experiencing. And that's the story, Virgo. So I hope that's enough to keep you busy for the next few days. Let's take a look at the oracle cards and see how they impact you. Okay, Virgo, 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 Virgo. This is also Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, just to make sure you know that. Purification. This is always about taking care of your body. It's how you do it, what you do to improve your physical wellness is up to you. But that's what that's about, purification. Virgo, 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 Virgo. Queen of Swords. So use your head. Be practical. Be intellectual. Do some research. How can you take better care of yourself? You know, vitamin therapy, whatever. See your practitioners. You might be consulting somebody on an issue that that's been bothering you. Psychological, physical, it all falls in the same category, and it'll be very positive. 9 of Pentacles. There is a new job, and it could bring all kinds of creative benefits. It's a new beginning. It's a blessing. Virgos, that's where I'm going to stop. I want you to have a wonderful week. I want you to look back to 2008. Drop me a line. I'm at cottagetarot.com. I'd love to hear from you. And on that note, take care. Hello, Taurians. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and urge you to get your tea, coffee, or whatever. I hope you're doing well. So let's plow right in. By the way, this is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So it applies to all of you. And I would advise, get a hold of your chart and see where your moon is and where is your rising sign. You can always look, if your rising sign is in something other than Taurus, find out where it is and then listen to the other reports. It's applicable. Okay. On Saturday the 25th, Neptune will sextile Pluto. Neptune will be in your 12th house of secrets, spirituality, introspection, and will be giving you very deep understandings that just pop up out of nowhere. It will interact with Pluto in your 9th house. So if you're getting ready to go to a graduate program, start a new learning program of any sort, you're getting ready to travel, you may be feeling like you want to fine-tune something that you've been planning on doing. And it could be due to the fact that something doesn't work out or becomes a little bit extraneous in the world of travel, learning, and exploring your expanding your world. So keep that in mind. I hope that made sense. On Sunday the 26th, Saturn will go retrograde. And again, Saturn is in Aries, and it is in that 12th house. Something that you are possibly secretly planning to do has to be rethought. Maybe you were thinking of joining an order. Maybe you were thinking of building a wood shop. It could be any number of things. But you will be taking apart the nails and pulling the nails out of the board, so to speak, so that you can redo something. Because Saturn is revisionist. It's also strict. There's only one or more ways, just a couple ways to fix whatever's going on as it relates to this very subtle, quiet, spiritual shift that you're thinking of making. And that's occurring around the 26th. On Monday the 27th, there's a big shift occurring. It's major. So the axis points change all the time, but they don't change every day and they don't change every month. But right now, the North Node is going to be moving into Aquarius. And Aquarius is in your area of career, your involvement in the community. And it's in the sign of research-oriented, technically oriented Aquarius. The South Node, which is where you supposedly are coming from, or intellectually coming from, or what you've been putting your focus on, is in the area of home and family. It's not like you can walk away from that, but the onus is shifting. Look back to 2008 to see what you were doing then, and you'll get a better, clear sense of what the patterns are. On Wednesday the 29th, all the pieces start to come together as we look at the fact that the full moon in Capricorn in your 9th house of expansion and growth and world travel is moving into the sign of Aquarius. This is a little bit unusual, but it's moving into that 10th house of career and in the world, work you do in the world. And additionally, the moon, which will be sitting very close to Pluto, which is in the sign of Aquarius, will make whatever's occurring in the career area more dynamic. While it's doing that, it will be interacting with, this is what's interesting, a cazimi of Jupiter and the Sun. Planets coming so close together, they're almost on top of each other. And where is that? That's in the area of your 4th house of home and family and all the things that are tied to your traditional roots. Listen to me. It's so dynamic because it falls on top of the South Node, where you've been putting a lot of your energy, or you maybe still have to. And it's all asking for you to pay attention to me, to whatever is happening in that 4th house, even though, this is the tricky part, your career house, the area where you work in the world, where you're putting your your shoulder to the wheel, so to speak, elbows, shoulders, ankles, I mean, who knows, is also asking for your attention. This is all occurring on the 29th. I've heard so many different interpretations of this shift in the axis points, but I can tell you on a personal level, it could make a major change in your life that you never saw coming. So keep that in mind. On Wednesday the 31st, the moon in Pisces will soften. Everybody will bring a little bit of calming waters, so to speak, to the situations that we are experiencing. And that will be in your 11th house. So organizations, groups of people, people with deep pockets could be influential in helping you to decipher what is going on in those 2 areas of your life, i.e. the great and glorious career house and issues around your home, the homestead, mom, because that's the 4th house too, and all the issues that are tied to your traditional roots. Let me know how this is impacting you. Please drop me a line. I'm at cottagetarot.com. So let's take a look at the cards and see how they're interacting with what's going on here. Positive change. Thank you, Parvati. I love it. For you Taurians, this is good stuff. King of Wands, fire sign, non-gender specific, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Could be stepping into the picture. You have done all this work all by yourself. You've carried the load. It's now time to start moving, to get change in the doing more than just in moving around in your head. It's time for you to make a decision. Yay or nay? Are you going to work on that project that has something to do with your development of your career? Because someone's offering you money to step in and do something for them. You will be thinking about dollars and cents. 4 of Pentacles. Here's the Queen of Wands. We had the King of Wands. So this is about being an authority figure, a firebrand, a take charge person. And lastly, there's someone involved who has their eye on you, who's an authority in the field that they operate within. They're at a higher position than you, or they're taken in that way. They could have an influence on what you're trying to accomplish. So, all you Taurus natives out there, have a wonderful week. And until next time, take care. Hello, Capricorns. How are you? Listen, there's a lot happening here, and I'm going to try to make it clear and succinct so that you get the information that you need. Oh, and by the way, if you like what I'm talking about, please feel free to drop a line and let me know. But also like, share, and subscribe because it really makes a difference. Okay. Let's jump right in here. Before this forecast gets dropped into the internet ether, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that on Saturday the 25th, Neptune in Aries, in that part of your chart that's all about home and family, is interacting, or what we call sextiling, in a positive way with Pluto in your house of finance. So there's a need for you to use some of your funds to improve something going on in your home. Maybe you're helping mom build something, move to something. Maybe you're simply needing a new roof, but that is occurring before this forecast even gets dropped. It's practical, it's earthy, it's necessary, and it's intuitively you're hearing the bells go off in your head. This needs to happen now. On Sunday the 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturn will retrograde in Aries, in that fourth house of home, mom, and family. So some kind of plans that you have been making that seem to be written in stone have to be revised. Was there a flood? Is your mother remarrying and needs an extra room for X, Y, or Z? Any number of issues could occur in your home, with your children, with your partner, with whatever. But there's a revision that needs to happen. And it needs to happen now. On Monday the 27th, the big news. The North Node, which is all about our direction in life, moves into Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about finance in your second house, being intellectual about it. Yes, you like to share it with the world, but the North Node is going to point you toward better ways to do all of it. The South Node in Leo is where some of your focus has been. You've been going through some kind of major transition. Now, this is saying, you know what? We need to take a look at the finances, because as much as we've been using our money to do whatever, buy a car, build a house, make sure the kids get through school, the finances need to be shored up. And this activity, this particular axis between Aquarius and Leo in your 8th house and 2nd house occurred the last time in 2008. Can you look back? Can you talk to friends and family to find out what the patterns were? Because sure enough, it'll be similar. Then on Wednesday the 29th, there's more of the same. We've got the full moon, which starts out in Capricorn, and I'm thinking, because I really want to word this properly. It starts out in your first house of identity and how the world sees you, and it moves into Aquarius in that 2nd house of finance. So you're tying up loose ends in both areas. Maybe you need to pay a bill that's been putting off. Maybe it's dealing with the IRS. Maybe it's getting your last payment on something. But whatever it is, the focus is going to be on that 2nd house. Additionally, the moon in Aquarius will be sitting very close to Pluto. And it will interact. And it'll say, ding, 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 ding. You've got to deal with this now. There's no way around it, or things are going to fall apart. No, they're not. You keep telling yourself, no, they're not. Just deal with it. Okay? And then There is a cazimi between the Sun, which is in Leo, and Jupiter, which is in Leo, and the two of them will pancake themselves together in your 8th house of transition, of sex, taxes, love affairs, private, not so private, all that jazz. And that is what's going on here. And the two are going to be pushing and pulling you like crazy between the 8th house of transition and the 2nd house of your money. It's all happening at once. So keep that in mind. On Wednesday the 31st, the moon moves into Pisces. Thank goodness. And the emphasis will be on communicating. Pisces is softer, it's watery. Be gentle. Share your ideas. Talk to your siblings. It'll all be happening on the 31st. Now let's take a look at the cards. Focus on your strengths. You can't do everything all at once. Do what you know how you do best. So that's an important next step. Number 1, there is a partnership, a love affair, a wedding, something that you are getting really involved in. That's where some of the money might be necessary. And it's got you nervous and agitated and worried. 9 of Swords. You don't want to go rampaging around. You need to calm down, because whatever this is about, it could be one of your children getting married, or it could be you and your partner wants to have a wedding with a cast of thousands. Whatever it is, you have to calm yourself down and don't rush off without giving things a lot of thought. The Hermit begs you to meditate, pray, take a long walk, be introspective. 6 of Swords is telling me that things will smooth out. Things will be calmer, probably in about 5 to 6 days' time. The money that you need, there will be enough. It won't be over the top. You're not winning the lottery, but the Queen of Pentacles offers that to you. Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Knight of Swords. You have the energy to manage your business. You can do this. And lastly, you have somebody in authority who's at a higher level than you, or in a position of incredible how to put this, somebody who's incredibly well versed in the field that you are working in, who can be very, very knowledgeable and support your vision. So on that note, Capricorn, please take care. Enjoy your week. Drop me a note. Like, share, and subscribe.